The fleur-de-lis was the symbol for the Priory of Zion. I am revisiting some teachings that I've done and revisiting some new information concerning the Priory of Zion and what it all means. But I want you to notice that they use this symbol. This sort of gained prominence in the Da Vinci Code. We talked about that earlier. Remember, Elise Bailey said we need to educate everybody. So what better way to educate everybody than through a novel, which millions of people all over the earth have read, through the movie, which millions more have seen, plus all the documentaries and auxiliary things that have come about as a result of this one thing. It literally has taken mankind by storm, this doctrine, this teaching, that a secret society exists, that they have a secret so powerful that it will bring down the church. That's not true. Jesus said, upon this rock, the Bible, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Did you know that when the Da Vinci Code came out, and I read the book, and I saw the movie, and I looked at all the documentaries, and I read all the other stuff that went along with it, did you know that it did not destroy my faith in this Bible right here? The gates of hell literally will not prevail against it. But this symbol, and Dan Brown actually talked about the compass rose. And remember, the rose is a symbol for the sacred feminine. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay? So that's, and she is concealing something. The idea of sub rosa. Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland has roses all up in the ceiling, meaning that everything that's in there is in secret. Kind of like the CIA having the rose as its symbol, showing you that they are the repository of something that is cryptic or something that is secret. So here we have the Priory of Zion. They are supposedly the possessors of a great secret. And they're just like, and some people say, well, the Priory of Zion never existed. The concepts of the Priory of Zion are based upon things that are similar to it, like Templarism, Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism. Rosicrucianism, the rose cross, which is what you have in the compass symbol, is the symbol of the rose cross. The rose is the female, the cross is the male, and they're fused together, sons of God, daughters of men. And by the way, the rose always bears what? Thorns. Okay? Think about it. But anyway, the idea of secrecy and things that are hidden, whether or not Da Vinci actually belonged to a group called the Priory of Zion, Da Vinci knew or had a secret doctrine that he conveyed subtly into his artwork. Beauty and the Beast. Think about that for a minute. You know what the symbol in the Beauty and the Beast was? It's a rose. Okay? It's the symbol of secrecy. It's this idea and that something is going to transform. There's a bloodline. There's a special seed out there, or a new breed, the way Todd Bentley refers to it. There's something special out there that's going to save mankind. And it is not the blood of Jesus Christ. It's something else that's going to save mankind, a bloodline. And I even saw the imagery of a fleur-de-lis inside when I went back over this commercial. These cars are crossing a bridge. That in itself is symbolic. A bridge connects two things. There's a river. The bridge connects two things that cannot be connected because they're separated, just like sons of God and daughters of men. And these Jeeps are now making the symbol of the fleur-de-lis in what they're, and you just see this just for a few seconds in this video. The fleur-de-lis was always a symbol for the Merovingian kings. Now, do you remember the Merovingian kings? The Merovingian kings supposedly were the offspring of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, so that the Merovingian kings had what they called divine right. In other words, they believed that because they were descended from a god, they had the right to rule over mankind. Actually, the real myth or the real story about King Merovei, who was the progenitor of the Merovingian kings, King Merovei supposedly was born of a human woman and a leviathan, a beast, a sea creature, mingling the seed of sacred bloodline, sons of God, daughters of men. From the Da Vinci Code, we remember that they're going through the streets of Paris. There was what was referred to as the Rose Line. The Rose Line supposedly represented the secret mystical bloodline that exists on planet Earth, that the Priory of Zion, the Rosicrucians, the Knights Templar, the Freemasons, the CIA, they're all sort of keeping it a secret, keeping it hidden. They're trying to not let everybody find out about it yet because it's not time, but we're educating everybody now so that we can prepare them when we release this bloodline upon the earth. But anyway, this Rose Line was actually one of the original prime meridians. There were several of them. It was supposed to be longitude 0. And it's marked by these little brass plates in the streets and sidewalks of Paris. The name Arago, I think, is the French astronomer or astrologer or whatever that actually pinned down this particular line, and so they named it after him. But this line goes through one of the churches there in the Da Vinci Code legend called St. Sulpice. And this Rose Line actually ends up, you see here the picture here, the Rose Line ends up sort of transverse in this chapel here. It runs into an obelisk. That's a symbol for the beast, the Antichrist, the phallus. This obelisk just happens to be 33 feet tall. Okay? We're dealing with the same idea, same issue here. And remember, Paris, I believe this. I believe that Paris was designated at this time, and it was this whole thing in Paris was, in the 1800s, there was an occult explosion there. Okay? There was a spirit in Paris, still is, of Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. And they established a meridian in Paris that is exactly 33 degrees away from Jerusalem. So you kind of get this concept. Here is a Knights Templar, and he is going to make a pilgrimage to Jerusalem that's going to take him eastward exactly 33 degrees. The idea of a bloodline. Now, there's some things in the Bible that I don't understand, and I'm still researching and I'm still finding. But I think the Bible is trying to indicate to us a seed, a generation that still exists, I believe. Look at the Scriptures in Genesis 3:15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Now that word seed means lineage. It means heirs. It means a blood line. And it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Notice Deuteronomy 13:13. Are you kind of getting the clues here? Certain men, the children of Belial. Who's Belial? It's Lucifer, the child of the devil. Children of Belial, a seed, are gone out from among you. 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 16 refers to a daughter of Belial. 1 Samuel 25, Nabal was a man of Belial. Matthew chapter 3, notice what Jesus said. In Matthew chapter 3, no, this is John the Baptist. But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who hath warned you to flee from the wrath to come? John the Baptist was looking at the Pharisees and Sadducees, and he called them a generation, the bloodline, the inheritors, the seed of Satan himself, the seed of vipers. Matthew chapter 12, O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? He's using that phrase, generation of vipers. Matthew chapter 23, we're going to go here in a little bit. Matthew 23:33, ye serpents, ye generations of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Look in Acts chapter 13. We have a man by the name of false prophet. And Paul looks at him and he says, O full of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil. Jesus was looking at the Pharisees and the Sadducees. These are people who had a descendancy in Israel. A generation, and he called them, you serpents, a generation of vipers. Literally referring to a bloodline.